is going to be Theory Month. We didn't really feel like going back to specific characters quite yet, so.
But we will be talking about theories from different universes, so we're not going to stick to just one.
Yep. So as our shirts should tell you, our first one is going to be Harry Potter related. Now, it isn't so much a theory as more an observation that once we saw, we realized, how does this just happen?
Yeah.
So, we'll go year by year when we describe this. So, the real question here is, how is Hogwarts running like it is? Because there's a host of issues in there. So, in the first year, Fluffy,
Hagrid's giant Cerberus.
Yeah, he's in the castle, and well, in the movie we've got Harry, Ron, and Hermione finding him, and in the books Neville's with them, and they just stumble upon this Cerberus. So I highly doubt they're the only ones who ever stumbled upon him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like there was no real preventative measures from keeping students and the giant killer dog separated.
It's because in the beginning of the year at the feast, Dumbledore says that Filch, the caretaker, has asked him to tell everyone that the third floor corridor on the right-hand side is out of bounds to anyone who doesn't want to die a painful death.
But he says that, like, as with every year, so this isn't the first time, so I doubt people actually listen to that warning.
Yeah, it's a little too abstract for anyone to really get what he means. And
I think, in all honesty, it made it more tempting for most students to want to look. So,
yeah, it just piques their curiosity.
Yeah, so that's year one. Year two, students are getting petrified, and their parents aren't pulling them out. Why is that? Like, if I wrote home to my parents, oh, yesterday this kid, I don't know, got petrified and is now in the hospital wing. Oh, and the week before that there was someone else too. They would pull me out of school and bring me home.
Now, granted, all the kids who were being petrified, with the exception of Nearly Headless Nick, who was a ghost, they were Muggle-born, but still.
You know, you think Muggle parents or even wizard parents would be like, do I want to risk my child like this?
Yeah.
So it's like,
seriously, what's up
with
that?
I get that, you know, the prospect of Hogwarts closing is like this really horrible thing to Harry.
But Dumbledore says himself Hogwarts is no longer safe.
Yeah, so why didn't it close sooner? And why were no children being pulled out by their parents who were afraid for their safety?
Because the decision to be made to send all the students home wasn't made until the monster dragged Ginny into the chamber, and that was actually the first time parents were actually notified, because as soon as that happened, of course they told the Weasleys.
Yeah. And then, in third year, they have Dementors everywhere because there's a serial killer on the loose. He wasn't actually a serial killer, but no one knew it at the time, so the point still stands. Like, we don't see any evidence of worried parents.
No.
And, like, even after the deranged killer breaks into a common room.
Yeah, all they do is get sent to the Great Hall for the night. It's like,
that's all?
That's all? You're
really?
just gonna...
No freaked out parents mentioned? And no students leaving? And so then fourth year, you know, nothing really for parents to be worried about in that regard. But fifth year, this has always bothered me. So I get Umbridge is from the ministry and all that stuff, but she takes disciplining the students, taking detention with her to a different level. She, like, legitimately tortures them.
I mean, she's mutilating them.
She is, and it's like, that's not like just boring someone or scaring the shit out of them. That's like hurting them like all their hands are scarred up from it, and like even if a student doesn't bother writing home about it, when they go home, whether it be for the summer or when they go home during the holiday break, the parents are going to see those scar marks, and it's like,
How are
they're
you
like the
not?
parents are gonna be like, you did not have that before you left for school. What happened there?
And like, do you expect your a student to just lie about that?
But Umbridge doesn't get like, okay, I don't know if suing is like a thing for wizards, but like, what? Why wasn't she sued?
I mean, an investigation isn't done on this until after the school year ends.
It's just like, you'd think that a parent would go after her for mutilating their child.
I mean, I don't know if it's because maybe there's this fear of her because she works for the ministry, and some people are just afraid
That
of
might scare off
politicians.
some people, but not everyone.
That's true.
Not everyone, but we don't hear anything about anyone going after her for hurting their kid.
Yeah, and she goes right back to the ministry after.
Exactly. Like, in all honesty, realistically speaking, some parents should have raised up a stink about it, and then to save face, the ministry would have fired her.
But they didn't.
And no parent raised a stink about it. At least it was never mentioned.
No.
Then,
60 or nothing really happens until the end when Dumbledore's killed, but that doesn't really cause the students any danger.
well, not in like the right home, I need to go home right away because I'm scared for my life kind of danger anyway.
And the Death Eaters do break in, but
That was like something that no one was actually expecting. There was no, well, for the main characters there was foreshadowing for that, but for the public mass, no. And then then what would have been Harry's 7th year, that's a bit different. People knew they were going at their own peril. I don't get why so many of them went, but whatever.
because it was either send your kids to school or go on the run, so, but still.
Yeah, but 7th year, it doesn't count for a host of reasons. And there's other stuff also, like Filch. What does he do? He doesn't, he's made out to be like this caretaker, which I think is like just a nicer term for janitor, but the house elves do all the cleaning.
And, all he basically does is look for ways to write the students up and give them detention when.
And his idea of detention would get a normal teacher fired. Like, he wants to, torture them. And he's vocal about it. How is he allowed near children?
Yeah. Would you let us say this near your child? Because that's basically what he is.
Yeah. It confuses me. So, taking all of that, how does Hogwarts, run as well as it does, I guess? Because they have people on staff they really shouldn't. The school is made up to be this ultra-safe place when it's not. It's how?
If you compare it to the rest of the wizarding world, I guess you can say in ways that it's better than just letting your kids run free with no idea how to use magic.
It's just happening in the years Harry's there. Then Harry needs to leave the school to make everyone else safe.
Yes.
But I don't know, because we don't know how dangerous it is on the other years. Because, Sirius Black going to Hogwarts was a good chunk because Harry was there. The other chunk was because he wanted to kill Peter Pettigrew, which I don't blame him for.
No, because Sirius was innocent.
Yeah, and I guess part of what happened 5th year can also be blamed on Harry, because he spread the word that Voldemort was back, that Umbridge and Fudge wanted to Yeah, I'm not even sure what their exact aim was, but discredit Dumbledore, discredit Harry,
Which,
a host of other things. So that could at least partially be blamed on him.
even though he was telling the truth.
Yeah, but his first year, he had nothing to do with the Philosopher's Stone.
No.
His second year with I mean, I also heard a theory that Lucius just tried the thing with the diary because originally he and the other Death Eaters were hoping that Harry would be a good Dark Lord because he killed the previous one, and then in year one he proved he wasn't going to do that. So Lucius was just doing like something to try to. I'm not sure what his goal was. It was a stupid plan.
Makes sense,
Just
but
he
stupid.
didn't know what the diary was.
Mhm.
So I guess he can also be partially blamed for that. But still.
Yeah. So, yeah, Hogwarts, not as safe as they make it out to be.
So the real question is like, well, what do you guys think? Do you think the students just aren't telling their parents about all the scary stuff that's happening that is endangering their lives? Or do you think they are and their parents just don't care? But if their parents don't care or they're choosing not to tell their parents, why do you think that is? Because it doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't. But yeah. So, let us know down below in the comments. What do you guys think? What is going on?
So that's it for this video. We'll see you in our next video soon. Bye.
Bye.